Hello everyone and welcome back to our public swing trading 4-hour experiment video where we show you trading is as easy as you make it on yourself. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Jenny Baker with Six Figure Trading Coach, and these videos we do approximately every other Tuesday evening. We literally use the same exact strategy to break down some trades to say, hey, go paper trade these, demo trade these, future trade these, or take a look at these and see how they play out over the course of days, weeks, and months and say, what would your account, your money, your capital have grown to? Wins, losses, and all the good and bad in between. What would that equal for you in a month, a couple of months, or in a year? That's the whole purpose of what we're doing. And tonight we've got 733 pips from our last video approximately 2 weeks ago, as well as a couple of new entries tonight as well, even given the crazy news events we've got going on. So, of course, without further ado, we have to go through our disclaimer real quick that just says trading is high risk. I trade, very, very high risk. You can follow similar things that will give you lower risk, lower reward styles, etc., so forth. You can use different brokers and the whole nine. You guys already know this back and front like the back of your hand. Before I go any further, one more disclaimer. We are in a mess in terms of brokers. There's no way around that. Everything American-based, we've just been thrown around week after week after week. It's been another set of chaos and turmoil nonstop, and it doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon. So remember, when we talk about pips, for the most part, we're trying to keep a uniform value, but we know from broker to broker, it does vary. I would again implore everybody to click on this or scan this. It's my link tree. Any broker that I am currently working with is there. I would definitely say make sure you are stabilizing your own economic future and making sure you have some account with each one of those just to kind of protect you from whatever may or may not be coming. And that's that on brokers. Before I go into what we accomplished 2 weeks ago and then look at the trade reviews, which I super highly value, I do want to mention, I forgot a couple of things. We've got our six-figure trading coach copier launched. I likely will be switching brokers just due to extreme slippage in one of the environments that I'm mirroring. It's not a stable place, so I'm not going to be maintaining that relationship in terms of Forex, although it is the same broker I'm using, go figure, for US 30. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Overall, between a couple of copiers, between AFX as well as AUX, we've accomplished somewhere in around 17 to 20% in total in less than 2 months. Now, granted, that's in a very chaotic environment. That's risking approximately 0.5% per trade. That's with the wins, the losses, and the variance and everything. Granted, this week will end up being pretty catastrophic. I mean, it'll probably put us down to like a 3% gain versus the 7 that we were looking at the most by the time all this stuff closes and I switch over servers. But over again, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to take a look at what's possible. Between variance and everything that's offered, you're likely going to achieve somewhere around 80%, hopefully, maybe as high as 70, as low as 75, 70%, on your broker. But ideally, I'm going to maintain my trading record, which is in and around a 90% accuracy, 85, 90%. I've maintained that for years and years. And that's even with, 5-week winning streaks, that's kind of where I end up, where wins and losses always seem to fall. So that's on manual trading. I really wish I would have updated this. That would have been snazzy. I have not yet. But yes, Six Figure Trading Coach has its own US 30 trade copier, which is an auto trading program. We have a few guys in the group who are naming it things like Toby and Snatcher and all kinds of things in between. No, I don't have a name, although I'm kind of very entertained with everybody else. I do believe we're up like 60, 65% in less than a month. To give you an idea, drawdown has maintained 3 to 4% in general. And I'm super excited, as are many other people, for what this thing is doing and how it's performing on people's accounts. So that's also available inside of our community. What else do I have here? Probably need to go back and update all this, and I will do so. I just did not do so before this video. We had Boy Scouts, and we're making raviolis, like homemade, all rolled out and all that stuff. So that's what I've been doing this evening. But without further ado, let's go take a look at the 3 trades we called 2 weeks ago. I'd love to hear how you did. Please put them in the YouTube chat. Please ask questions in terms of pairs or things you'd like to see in the future. And let's go take a look. Okay, so here's where we're at in terms of our 4-hour public swing trading experiment. I don't know how long I'm going to call it experiment or how long I'm going to keep doing this. The idea was just to show you that it's not the strategy, it's not the tools. It's the definitive management over time and the consistent execution following the same principles that equals results. That was the idea of kind of doing things in this manner. Having said that, we've got about 21 weeks and we're up about 18,000 pips. Mind you, that includes a couple of exotics as well as indices, which was where we get the thousands from. But either way, even with Forex, you kind of get the idea. you'll notice, I usually keep this one hidden and just kind of show right here in terms of risk and reward. You'll notice that on average, we're averaging about a 3.4 to 1, 2.86 more exact in terms of how we're calculating it all. Risk to reward ratio from trade to trade to trade, which again, not a bad way to be. This is realized gain, okay? This is actual risk, including losses, right? Obviously, those are going to be different. FX Books does not report this. They report this, right? Just to kind of show you. But either way, 18,000 pips. To tell you what that equals, if you risked 1% on a $500 account, this is about what you would have after only 21 weeks. I don't know of a single account. I don't even know, unless you're doing the altcoins, right? A lot of other investments where you can do something like this for 20 minutes, twice a month to achieve those kind of gains. And that's risking very small, starting very small. On the other side, if you had $10,000 risked 1%, that's $26,000 in a little less than half of a year. That is definitely not a bad way to be. And mind you, you can obviously have more money in capital, and you can also be risking more. And to give you an idea of what that's worth, it's astronomical, right? This is including wins and losses. This is factoring in. I mean, no, it's not exact because the dollar, the value of EURGBP is different than the value of USD CAD, for example. There are some other parts that make this not exact. But to give you an idea, if you're hitting this by 80%, you're still doing pretty darn good. I mean, I know your bank account at 6% best case scenario is not giving you this much return, even at this level, right? Even at this level, even if would you have to have 20,000 in there? Even at 20,000 to even come close to this? Okay, at the end of the year to kind of give you an idea. Either way, just to give you an idea, this is what we're doing. These are the 3 trades we looked at on March 5th. Well, March 5th American time, UTC is obviously different. Remember, we are in daylight savings, so we're going to have a little bit of differences there. And we have switched brokers yet again because of all the American turmoil we've experienced. But yes, this time it happened to work out perfectly. As you notice in the past, which I have no problem highlighting losses. Many people get all tripped up. They're like, man, it was a bad week. I quit. Man, this sucked. It's too hard. Man, I took some losses. This trader sucks. This strategy sucks. That is not the case. You want to let the wins and losses fall where they will because you're looking for periods like this, right? You're looking for this to outweigh this over time. It's okay if these are bigger. In this period, oh yeah, let's exaggerate this just for conversation purposes. In this period, these losses vastly outweigh those wins, right? In the big picture. That's okay. And this is, months of an example because it's a couple of weeks included in this. That's okay. If you look at people's portfolio over time, it's okay to have those wins and losses week to week, those up and down weeks. If you're hitting 500% growth in a 3-year period, I mean, that chart is still beautiful. It is still sexy. So don't get too determined to jump ship every time you have some, turmoil. It's okay. It's part of the process. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the trades we have for this coming week. So the benefit of having few on our radar is we get to go review these and say, hey, we talked about this on this day. This video is live on YouTube. It's public. You can go back and see it and say, wait, is this chick BSing me? Is this actually what's happening? You can go see it for your own 2 eyes. It's published. The published date doesn't change. You can actually see it on there and say, yes. Was this predefined at the time? Yes. Yes, it was. So we know exactly how we're managing. We already know all of this stuff in advance. So there's no speculation. There's no need to say, well, if this, then that, or only worked for her because the idea is that this could work for anybody if they stick with it long enough. Now, let's go take a look at these charts. We're going to be reviewing these. And actually, I have 3 trades. 2 I will call, and 1 will be a bonus tonight. And let's go see what the charts are doing. Okay, you guys saw on our spreadsheet the shares we were looking at. Of course, we've got our own trade data. People have multiple entries on these pairs. There's a whole vast amount of information that you can expand on and or shrink upon to based off of management styles, re-entries, scale outs, trail outs, and everything in between. But these purple ones, whoopsie, are the ones we looked at a couple of weeks ago. Please notice this is a brand new platform also, so price variation is going to be a little bit different. It just is the nature of the industry we're in right now. It's all over the place. But these are the 3 pairs we're going to be looking at. And of course, we have a couple we're going to be looking at for the next few weeks. So first, let's review. On CAD, we were looking for a buy according to the JGS, right? We took this buy. It did beautifully. So it moved a total of, remember, pip counts vary from broker to broker, but about 110 pips, approximately, right? Remember, we have this predefined that your stop loss is below structure on the 4-hour time frame, plus at least 1 ATR of a cushion. You already know that. You also know you're protecting from about 50 pips or 1 ATR, so you definitely locked profit. But what we don't talk about often is you can also, remember this is highlighted yellow, so that's going to stay still. Let's see if I can't get a slightly better view. And scroll all the way over. You can also take this entry, last we went into drawdown approximately, but take multiple entries along the way up. As long as this trade analysis is still valid, you can take tons more entries over and over and over again, making this one trade worth 20%, 30%, for example, of your account, even while maintaining a very, very small amount of risk. Just something to drop out there for a second. Let's go ahead and review this in another way. Reorganize. There you go. But that's that. So we're going to take this off of our watch list. First thing I'm going to do is hit O, remove all of our drawn objects, and then I'm going to take it off, and it is gone. Next was USDJPY. This part is amazing, okay? That's nice when that happens. But let's be honest, a lot of us were stuck in some of this, right? This accumulation, this consolidation, period. It's the nature of trading. We can handle that if you manage accordingly. So yes, for those of you who got stuck in some of the JPY pairs, this was the beautifulest move, the most amazing, incredible moment you could have been in. Worked out perfectly. But still, this was hard. This was a mess. So overall, in total, this moved approximately somewhere along the lines of 360-ish pips, give or take, based off of your broker and other variables. Again, there were lots of different entries along the way. Now, of course, after JPY news today, we've got a huge move to the upside. Real curious to see what this is going to do. If this is just going to sweep liquidity and then continue a drop. Because, man, if I go up some time frames, this thing has just been cooking. So we're sitting very close to, it's almost what, all-time high? Right? It's all-time high. We're sitting very close to that yet again. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. Overall, we got a beautiful winning trade there. That's a nice way to be. And I'm going to remove all objects, and then we're going to continue. So I like this process of being able to review trades, to me, is the best part. It's way cooler than calling them out. Because when you can see it 2 weeks later and say, wait, how did this perform? What do I like about this? What do I hate about this? The good, the bad, and the ugly. It just creates a lot more peace when you do get stuck in moments like this. It creates a lot more clarity and certainty and ability to digest the wins and losses. Because you know this trade will pay for X loss. This trade will break even on X even, or this one that was kind of negligibly up or down. You know that you'll have this basket of 50 or 100 trades, and you'll say, hey, these many hit break even, these many ran a whole bunch, these ones were just barely profitable, and these ones took a loss. But at the end of this batch, you'll have made a boatload of money, or at least made a profit. And that is, that beats Wall Street in some cases. Wall Street's only going for what, 10, 12% a year? And even a very small percentage of that goes to you because, well, the hedge funds and the big powers that be have to make their cuts as well. So you're making that in a week, in a month? That is not a bad way to be. Let's go ahead. We already mentioned you have multiple entries. We've already mentioned that you knew how to manage. This made about 250-ish pips. Not bad. Again, perfect when it happens like this. It doesn't always happen like this. These 3 happen to be a good week. That's all it comes down to. Happen to be a good moment in time. But that's it. Those are our trade reviews. So before we take a look at future trades, we know there's interest rate news decision this week. We know multiple banks had multiple countries and currencies had interest rate news already. We know the market is digesting an awful lot. So if you're not sure on that, you can click around on all the pairs. There's a lot of money to be made. The yen is crazy. But if you take a look where most things are sitting, okay, they've made pretty sizable moves already. So unlike what we saw 2 weeks ago, this has already made its impulse correction, and now it's continuing. That moment was perfect. This timing, not so perfect, right? It's just not setting up the same way. I'm actually looking for a sell on this, although it's not ready. CAD JPY, GBP JPY, odd NCD looking for a short-term sell. We're clearing some liquidity now, not ready. Odd CAD, odd chef. I like odd chef. We do have our JGS signal, our golden strategy signal. But if we pop up a time frame, this has really bottomed out. I would be cautious. And the biggest reason why is look what this has done. This liquidity has already been filled. So this is already done, potentially. So we had to come all the way back up here before we pop back down. So, not super in love with this sell either. But here's where we're at. Not a bad way to be. But if you take a look, so I'm just scrolling through for a second. A lot of these pairs are sitting very still. I'm also looking for a short-term sell here. Take a look at where it's sitting on the daily. If I zoom in a little, we clean this liquidity. We came back up this consolidation now for, God, so many days. And now, of course, we cleared to the top side. Yet somehow today's daily candle is still pushing up. Overall, I'm bearish on this pair, but we're not ready. So we're still in buyer's territory on the golden strategy. On the 4-hour time frame, we're still respecting this 50. We've got this minuscule head and shoulders. So again, I'm sitting on my hands on this in terms of taking a new entry because it's not quite ready if we were to look for a new entry as of today. So I went through all that to say, please trade these 3 trades very, very carefully. Please trade them mindfully. Please don't hesitate if you're taking this in a live or demo environment to overprotect, trail quicker, scale quicker, meaning like, hey, I took a standard lot size. I'm going to scale out a 0.5 of that and then let the rest run for the 200 or 300 pips if I get it. But if not, I know I'm going to, cash in on some of this and protect the bag, right? So make sure you're protecting your profits a little bit on the way just because we have a crazy trading environment right now. But let's take a look. EURGBP, man, that is ugly. We know this pair does not move a lot of pips. So mind you, your target of 25 pips really needs to be muted, needs to be decreased because 1 ATR on this pair on the 4-hour time frame is only 10 pips. 10 pips. Ultimately, I am looking for this to buy up. This is where we're sitting. We have respected this low for a hot minute. Okay, we're respecting this area. I'm going to zoom in. This is the daily of this nice double bottom. We still have not paid out in this double bottom. 4-hour time frame. We've cleared the liquidity to the downside, not once, but twice. We've also done a little bit to the top here. Zoom in a little bit more. I've marked up prior to the candle that we're on. Our most recent JGS signal is still up. We are currently sitting neutral. That's a little bit sus. So here's where we're sitting now on the 1 hour. Another double bottom. Spread on this is a bit higher. The value of this per pip is a bit higher. So what I'm going to do is this is about 1 ATR away from where we're at. You can say, hey, I'm going to wait until after we at least break out, which means you have to give it room, spread room, right? And every broker is so different right now. That's only about 1.6 pips. You get it slightly more. You can say, hey, I want to close above this point before I'm going to take that buy. I want to be sure that it's actually moving now. Of course, you can take an entry now, take those extra 2 or 3 pips, totally up to you. But for me, I'm going to be going, let's see what I can do. I have to keep it on that candle to stay true to form. So this is on the candle prior to one more on. I'm looking for a buy on EURGBP. Overall, if I zoom out, make this kind of ugly, I'm going to go to B. I'm looking for price to come up quite a bit of ways. So we have failed to make lower lows at this level for many, many, many months. Figure all the way up into here, that's about 73 pips. Here's our most recent couple of fractals. You can, of course, use this lower low, which is going to give you maybe barely a 1-to-1, 1.6 to 1, using this low plus an ATR. Okay, not bad. You've got options here. This is not a bad stop loss, but I would give this room. Just knowing, again, the slippage in terms of this environment, especially if you're using an unregulated broker, knowing, again, we've got heavy news. What happens with heavy news? Spread opens up. And knowing we've respected this level for so long, that can they come down and do another sweep? They sure can at this level. So I don't want to get knocked out. For me and mine, that's an easy 73-ish pips. Overall, I'm looking for even more than that. 153-ish, all the way up into this area to come clear this order block at 8695-ish. Again, depending on your broker, but we're looking at this price action right up here. So again, not a bad way to be. Love this trade overall. Potential 3-to-1-ish. That's trade number 1, is a buy on EURGBP. Ta-da. Let me zoom out a little bit, give you an idea. Actually, we should take a screenshot of this and put this in our little Discord channel. Make it easy for people. Let's solidify that so I can't mess it up. That is also solidified. I will be placing my pending here, just trying to give my broker a little bit of breathing room, and we'll see how this plays out. That's trade 1. Trade 2, Full disclaimer, I already have 2 entries in. I'm going to be taking a third with you guys here tonight, just to follow, true to form as with these videos that I'm doing. Whoopsie. I love making you guys dizzy. First off, we saw what happened with the yen. Secondly, this one has not moved up nearly as aggressively. Third, we know that NZD already had its interest rate news, as well as JPY. Overall, is this going to get the explosive move we saw on the other JPY pairs? I don't know. I think the JPY has a lot of potential to, go down quite a bit, but we'll see how that plays out. So for now, I'm going to go ahead, put that, we're already there on the candle prior to the one that we're on. I'm placing my entry here, making this a solid line, because I'm placing this active, not as a pending, an active order. Active order as soon as I'm done on this call. Overall, let's talk worst case scenario. Again, we've got our JGS, our golden strategy ticket is telling us it's time to buy. We've got our confirmation, and from where we're currently sitting, is this a reasonable risk to reward trade worth taking a look at? Figure if all we're getting, that's not a lot of room into here. Okay, bear with me. This is a nice little handy tool. I don't know what I would do without it. Actually, I'm learning what I would do without it because having problems in some brokers, I don't like being without it. I'll tell you right now. Either way, if all we get is the very smallest amount, you're barely at a 0.5 to 1. But we're talking real scenario here. This is the tightest possible stop and the closest possible take profit area where I'd be looking for that reaction. That's not a lot of pips. It's only about 38-ish pips. Mind you, on this pair, the ATR on the 4-hour time frame is only 22. So you're definitely locking within about 22 pips, meaning you're making some actionable step to lock your trade within about 22 pips. This method works, tried and true. It's not, I'm sure there are many ways to adapt it and improve upon it. But if you're just looking for a method that says, if I follow these steps pretty closely, can I be profitable? This is a very sound strategy. You're taking your entry, your stop loss is below structure plus an ATR room for spring or sweep, right? You want to be protected from that little level. You're always locking or protecting or scaling out of a portion of your trade within that one ATR on the 4-hour time frame. You'd be surprised. Some people who are risking 10%, they're locking so much of it so quickly that it happens 90 some odd percent of the time. So then the rest of the time they're only taking a 3% loss. The rest, and then let's say 20 or 30% of the time they're knocking out that 7% gain over and over and over again. And then the rest of the time you got that last bit of a runner. It is a very good way to trade. Very, very good. Let's keep going on this pair. I'm looking for a much bigger reaction. I'm going to continue. That's only still 1.62 to 1 because this is kind of a feisty area here. That's only one fractal back. This is 2, maybe 3. Actually, I think it's 3. 1.3 to 1. This is the most recent fractal plus an ATR cushion. You're going to average somewhere about a 1 to 2, a 1 to 1 or a 2 to 1 trade on this, provided we don't break and make higher highs like what we saw on the other JPY pairs. So overall, yes, this is one of the trades I'm looking at. I will take my third entry. I won't have any more entries on this. I will scale out quickly, and as we pull back, if this is still confirmed and setting up, I will take additional entries along the way, making this a very profitable potential setup. So that's NZDJPY. 1, 2 Forex trades. I'm hesitant to talk about this because, again, tomorrow's interest rate news, right? First, we have to mention the big old flagpole we have. Pole, flag, everyone can see that. Plain as day, beautiful, clear, gotcha. This is a 4-hour time frame. JGS not only has our fast MACD crossed below and retested once, but also twice and is staying below. So we're proving we have that sell side, push. Also, we've got this slow MACD coming down. We've crossed beyond the 0. Would not be surprised to see the pull up, especially on that slow side, before we get this tank. I'm very hesitant to call an active trade on this, and I won't call an active trade on this on YouTube, mostly because it eats too much to people's margin, and I want people to manage it on a little bit better and more effectively. Ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised to see this not be a ray. Change that. Turn off the ray. Make this blue for projection. I wouldn't be surprised to see us either clear this liquidity or this liquidity. But to make some move to the upside, And this is obviously a 4-hour time frame before we sell down. And we've got quite a feisty sell. We've got quite powerful, profitable sell. Hold on. There you go. To give you an idea, taking an entry right now, this very millisecond, if this is our most recent area, this one not, because I'm waiting for that to break anyhow, and looking to come into here, come on, baby. All the way into there, that's 2050 price point. That is a very good risk-reward ratio. Very, very good. I'm looking for a pretty big sell on this overall. Are we going to get that much? We might not. That's 1,000 pips, you guys. 1,000 pips. So we're going to mark this up together because I'm curious. I am curious. We're currently respecting this trend line. I'm going to make this white for trend. White for trend line. Gotcha. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. So we're respecting this area very, very well. And there's so many ways to draw a trend line. It's going to be ultimately up to you on whichever way you're taught. This is from this most recent break. Even if we're coming up into here, you can see all the different touches. I like here before this bearish break, we retested again. This one's a little far off. And now I'm looking to come up into here. Provided we're staying below here, this sell analysis is still valid. Provided we're staying below this point. Provided we have these weak lows, these weak highs, I should say, these weaker highs being formed. And that's all they are, is weaker highs. Not to mention the flag formation. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the sweep to the upside, cash in all that liquidity before we tank down. But this is a lot of money on the table, a ton of money, especially if you trade this properly. Properly is the wrong word, but go to the 5 to 15 and take every entry based off of whatever entry strategy you're using on the way down and keep doing that over and over again. In a 1,000 pip move, this one trade, better yet, sprinkle in some diversity, right, into there, can easily equal your 100% gains. Easily. This one setup, again, if it's accurate, which right now we don't know that. But keeping it simple, right? Keep it simple, sweetie. Keep it simple, stupid, depending on your mood, right? We've got our golden strategy. We know that this plays out the vast majority of the time to be accurate. We know that as long as we're staying below here, we're good. So you have a lot of opportunities based off of your entry strategy to go to smaller time frames and take lots of trades on the way down. But just be careful. We might have this swing up plus the big news tomorrow. We'll see. I had to go over that because I would just be completely distraught if I had missed gold tonight. I've been trading this actually a lot lately, and man, it's easy. It doesn't eat your leverage and your margin as much as indices does. So between gold and my US 30 for scalping, oh, life is good. So, but that's all I've got for you guys tonight. As always, if you like this content, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all the things. I'm reasonably sure my team has all the socials up on the link tree, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all the things. So please make sure you go follow us on those and join us as we build this community. In our Discord, we've had so many incredible people. Some of us are buying altcoin launches, right? Some of us are creating on TradingView. Some of us are playing in futures. Some of us are just doing so many things. Gosh, I could just get lost. Of course, we've got cool trading tools, creating different management styles, mostly on MT4, but there's so many of us. One of the guys is linking, even in this very chaotic environment, all the social trading tools to prop firms to get around the US sanctions. So the community of intelligent and mastermind people is what I'm most excited about. So please make sure you go follow us on those platforms. Join our community to hopefully add value to your life as we add value to other people's lives and just build this mastermind of people who are doing great things. As always, be the light to go do great things. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy Tuesday. See you on the next one.